2005. And so, but I'm the first executive director because it is a full-time job to take care of these cemeteries and make sure that people aren't exploiting or abusing them. Like, we have a continual problem with people and their dogs, yet we're right beside Oak Hill Cemetery, and you never see anyone take their dog there. And so it's a constant education process for the public. We work with programs with many of the schools. We launched a database that we hope to share with other cemeteries because after emancipation, which is really important for an emphasis that I talk about a lot with this cemetery because people talk about Juneteenth, but in D.C., emancipation happened in 1862, and slave owners were given reparations. So there's a lot of things that we want to make sure that we're learning and sharing in history with our preservation work. So I just want to, I know that you're short on time, but I want to just direct people to the website, which is blackgeorgetown.com. And we have a list of things that we are doing, but we're also mainly volunteer. And so I am the only staff person, and I only get paid when we can pay me. And so I compensate by consulting for civil rights organizations. And you and I have actually met before. Sure. And some of the other work that I've done around HIV and media ownership and other things I have to do in order to take care of the ancestors
I get it.
I can do this.
Let me ask you, and I'm not naive. Let me ask you this question right quick, and I'm not naive in asking it, but I want to just get your take on it right quick, Lisa Fager, and that is, why do you think there is so little disregard for the sacred nature of black burial grounds? I heard your story earlier about the dogs and how white folk would take their dogs here but not over there. Why is there so little regard for the sacred nature of black burial grounds?
Because it's a direct connection of how death represents life, and so many of these stories. I mean, it's just a complete cycle. I mean, the way that we're treated in life, we're treating in death, and we thought it was going to be so great, and that's what I want to make sure our ancestors live. You know, their final resting place is exactly. I mean, can they get a break even in death?
No, I take your point. Powerful point. When we come forward in our remaining moments, we'll go straight to Margaret Williams down in Texas and talk about what's being done to preserve these sacred burial grounds called Olivewood. We'll do that when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
Can you dig it? Come on!
What's up, party people? It's your favorite MC's favorite rapper, MC Light here. And we're celebrating 50 years of hip-hop, authentically powered by Cadillac. And we're going to take it way back to where it started. It was only fitting that hip-hop began with teenagers at a back-to-school jam in the rec room of a South Bronx apartment complex by an 18-year-old brother. By the way, I'm also sure he had a Cadillac parked outside. He noticed the energy on the dance floor when he switched between two turntables, extending the beats, repeating the breaks, and never losing the rhythms. And that was the birth of hip-hop. And from that moment, it took off.
For more on how Cadillac is celebrating hip-hop's 50th, visit Cadillac.com/audacity.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for voting rights. When We All Vote is a leading national nonpartisan initiative on a mission to change the culture around voting and to increase participation in each and every election by helping to close the race and age gap. Created by Michelle Obama, When We All Vote brings together individuals, institutions, brands, and organizations to register new voters across the country and advance civic education for the entire family and voters of every age to build an informed and engaged electorate for today and generations to come. When We All Vote empowers their supporters and volunteers to take action through voting, advocating for their rights, and holding their elected officials accountable. Please visit whenweallvote.org to stand up for your rights, voting rights. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The Chase Ink Business Premier Card is made for people who make things happen, like me. I'm Sam, founder and CEO of Manifest, a product design company that makes everyday products designed smarter. I get 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more, plus unlimited 2% cash back on all other purchases, which helps us make more smart ideas into a brilliant reality.
The Ink Business Premier Card. Learn more at chase.com/business premier. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Account subject to credit approval. Restrictions and limitations apply. Cards are issued by JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Mom's early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
And when I left the oven on, we decided together that it was time to see a doctor and make a plan.
Early detection gave us more time to seek out information and support as a family.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
He's rooting for everybody black. Everybody black. More of Tavis Smiley coming your way right now.
Just a few minutes left in our dialogue with these three sisters who are doing their part to save these black cemeteries. You heard from Yamona Pierce about what she's doing through the Hamilton Hood Foundation for this cemetery in Georgia. You heard from Lisa Fager about what she's doing through the Black Georgetown Foundation for these cemeteries in the D.C. area. We go now quickly to Margot Williams. And Margot, tell me what's being done to preserve olive wood.
Well, yes, sir. Well, we're working on maintaining the plants and the brush and all of those things. We're working on, it's a very flourishable piece of property, so we're working on sustaining that and beating back the brush and the flora. Also, we're educating the public. We think that that's a very important piece of this project, is to educate the public. So we use olive wood as an outdoor classroom. We invite our elementary students, our middle school, our high schoolers, our universities, various universities to come and partake of not only cleaning the cemetery and help maintaining it, but also teaching them about the history, because that's a very important thing at this time. Is to teach them about the history and why it's important to maintain and sustain olive wood for not only this generation, but for future generations as well.
Yeah.
We're working with the National Trust through the African American Cultural Heritage Fund. We've received some funding from them, which was very much needed because there's a big erosion problem. And so if we don't preserve and protect olive wood and get that taken care of, there will be no olive wood to tell the story about.
Yeah, Yamona, I'm doing a quick one last quick round to all three of you very quickly here. Yamona, I assume that given, as I said earlier, I said earlier, this ain't your day job. You said, well, it is now. I assume though that there is some joy. The drama notwithstanding, there must be some joy in being able to serve in this way. Yes.
You know what? Yes. Tavis, and I just want to quickly just speak to, again, one of the biggest successes thus far is the descendants, the Hamilton Hood Foundation, were able to, put pressure on Georgia Power and Mediacom to remove the broadband cable lines and power lines out of Pierce Chapel African Cemetery.
Yes.
That was a historical moment for all of us.
Yeah.
Was to have the power lines. As you know, it was threatened by them putting up those power lines and going in repeatedly over the years in connection with those power lines and the maintenance of them.
Well,
so just having them do that.
Yeah, but that's what I was raising earlier when I said to Lisa, I asked her rather, why is there so little regard for the sacred nature of black burial grounds? You got Georgia Power just gallivanting through a burial ground. This is Georgia Power, just gallivanting through this sacred burial ground as if there aren't there aren't bodies buried there of our ancestors. So I'm glad to hear, and I was glad to read about the victory that you had with Georgia Power and making them get their mind right. Lisa, I just got a matter of seconds here. I assume the same is true for you. There is although a challenge every day, a challenge for compensation for that matter, but there must be some joy in what you're doing, Lisa Fager.
Oh, yes. It's my passion and my purpose, which is to help black people All Black lives mattered.
Yep. As we say around here, we're rooting for everybody black. We're rooting for everybody black. Margot Williams, last word to you. Are you hopeful that y'all can get things right at Olivewood?
I'm sorry, what?
Are you hopeful that y'all can turn things around at Olivewood?
I am so hopeful everything is moving in the right directions. And I think what makes my day is that when those 80 and 90-year-old ladies come out there or gentlemen come out there and they say, this is the first time in years that I have been able to get through and find the place where my family member is buried. That's what brings me joy.
No, that's a great place to end. I can't do it better than that. You can't close the show, this hour, that is, of this show, any better than that. I think we are all deeply indebted to these sisters who are doing the righteous work of protecting and preserving these African-American cemeteries. Yamona Pierce, founder of the Hamilton Hood Foundation, we thank you. Lisa Fager, Black Georgetown Foundation, Inc., we thank you. And Margot Williams, founder and president of Descendants of Olivewood, Inc., we thank you for the great work and witness that you are doing on behalf of all of us in the black community. Thank you for your time. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Former President Donald Trump is expected back in a Manhattan courtroom today for day 2 of his civil fraud trial. Trump yesterday said the case against him is a move to try and stop him from becoming president. African-American Attorney General Letitia James is accusing Trump and his family of inflating Trump's net worth, leading him to get better loans and leading to banks to take on bigger risks. In New York, another lawsuit has been filed in that Hudson Valley bus crash that killed 2 teachers and injured dozens of marching band members from Long Island. The second suit is practically identical to the first. It claims negligence by Regency Transportation of Wisconsin and its driver, Lisa Schaefer, whose bus carried 40 Farmingdale High School band